softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.
Welcome to the Water Cooler, everybody. I'm David Brody. We are glad you're with us. All right, so we begin today with one question. Are the polls wrong? Because the latest political model from The Economist shows Joe Biden with a 96% chance of winning the election. That's right, 96%. So are you buying it at all? Don't tell these voters. As a matter of fact, this is what Trump rallies in Arizona look like. MAGA Nation out in droves. The president there today. Arizona's 11 key electoral votes are crucial. And speaking of crucial, what about massive mail-in balloting? Look, we've got word today from the White House that alerts have gone out to state and local governments about massive fraud. And we've got the details coming up on the big show today. Also, here we go again, unrest in a major liberal city, this time in Philadelphia, where cops shot and killed a black man coming at them with a knife. We've got the reaction from the White House. Also today, how about what happened today on Capitol Hill, where Senator Ted Cruz crushed Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey over liberal and political bias and censorship coming from their platform. It is making news at the Water Cooler.
You forced a Politico reporter to take down his post about the New York Post as well. Is that correct?
Within that 24-hour period, yes. But we, as the policy has changed, anyone can tweet.
So Twitter takes the view you can censor the New York Post, you can censor Politico, presumably you can censor the New York Times or any other media outlet. Mr. Dorsey, who the hell elected you and put you in charge of what the media are allowed to report and what the American people are allowed to hear? And why do you persist in behaving as a Democratic super PAC, silencing views to the contrary of your political beliefs?
Let's give Mr. Dorsey a few seconds to answer that, and then we'll have to conclude this segment.
Well, we're not doing that, and this is why I opened this hearing with calls for more transparency.
Jack Dorsey with the interesting look there. I don't want to say it's the Unabomber look. I mean, I shouldn't say that, though I just did. But anyhow, more on that later in the show. First, though, our newsmaker. Earlier today, I spoke with White House Communications Director Alyssa Farah about the upcoming election, the possibility of massive mail-in ballot fraud, and unrest in Philadelphia, also Hunter Biden. Alyssa Farah, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it.
David, great to be here. Good to join you.
Well, look, the last time I checked, there was an election just around the corner. What do you think? I mean, The Economist, by the way, is now out with something along the lines they're modeling showing a 96% chance of Joe Biden winning. What's the view inside the White House there, Alyssa?
Well, I don't trust The Economist on much, and definitely not that polling. We're feeling great. The president is out on the campaign trail meeting with real Americans. Last week, he was doing 3 rallies a day. This week, he's up to 5 rallies a day. So that means, 90 minutes or longer that he's talking to the American people, selling his message of promises made and promises kept. We're feeling good. We're taking our case right to the American people, but we also don't take any vote for granted. We know we need to win the American people's support, not hide in our basement.
Yeah, I'm curious about the election fraud that we've heard about. We've seen the examples out there. How concerned is this president? We know the president's very concerned about it, but what is the feeling inside the White House about come election night and beyond what the game plan is, Alyssa?
Well, we're very concerned. We've conveyed to state secretaries of state that they need to have plans in place for these mass mail-in voting that we're planning to see. I think there's definitely some nervousness about ballots being accurately counted. Fox did a very interesting segment covering just, following a ballot from start to finish, and many of them were rejected or didn't make it to where they were supposed to. So this is something we're monitoring. We're working with the state governments to try to make sure that we have a smooth election and every vote counts. But it is a concern, and it's why we're encouraging people, if you're able to do so safely, vote in person.
Alyssa, let me ask you, the name of our show, of course, is The Water Cooler, and here's some of the topic around the water cooler, this idea that if the president wins, that there literally could be mayhem around this country when it comes to Democrats and liberals kind of in meltdown mode, and possibly violence in certain cities. Is the White House, is this administration prepared for a scenario like that?
So listen, the Department of Homeland Security is monitoring any potential unrest for any direction that this election goes. Securing our streets is a top priority of the president's. But what I would say, to your point, David, the Democrats regularly accuse President Trump of tearing down American institutions when it's in fact them who have not for 4 years been able to accept the results of our election. And once again, if we're seeing restlessness in the streets because of a democratically elected process, that's on them. We're going to do what we need to keep our cities safe, take precautions in advance, and the American people need to feel safe going out and voting and being in the public square.
I want to ask you about what's happening in Philadelphia and the response by this White House. Are you waiting for a request from either the mayor or the governor there in terms of what potentially could happen with federal troops? How is that process going to work, Alyssa?
So the White House has been in touch with the governor's office at the staff level. We've made clear we're monitoring the situation. We'd be standing by to send federal resources if necessary. We think it's an important step that the governor called up the state National Guard. It shows they're taking this more seriously than, Portland and Seattle and some of these other cities did for some time. But we're going to monitor the situation, and if necessary, we're ready to stand by and help. We're not going to allow lawlessness in our streets, and certainly not violence against our brave men and women in uniform.
Yeah. Hey, Alyssa, let me ask you about COVID. The president keeps talking about COVID as he, at the rallies, he says COVID, COVID, COVID. That's all the media wants to talk about all day long, and obviously it's a very important issue. But he's suggesting that come November 4th, all of a sudden their narrative may change. What's the sense about what's going on with the media and COVID?
Well, listen, it's important that the media cover COVID from a public health perspective, give good, honest, straightforward facts to the public so they can make decisions for their families. What's not helpful is when they get into the speculation game and they don't tell all the facts. So something the president is very proud of, frankly, is the fact that the mortality rate has dramatically gone down because of his interventions, because he's raised therapeutics, because he's gotten treatments to hospitals so that we're able to lower the likelihood that you have a fatal incident once contracting the virus. We want the media to talk about that. Something we've pushed back on quite a bit from the White House is we talk about cases, 20,000 new cases here, the media will breathlessly report, and that matters. We do need to isolate cases and we need to catch them. But what's a much more important barometer for how dangerous this virus is hospitalizations and deaths, and those continue to decline. But listen, we're rounding the corner. We're not out of the woods yet. People need to remain vigilant. They need to be smart, and we soon are very hopeful that we're going to have a vaccine on the market that's safe and effective for millions of Americans.
So, Alyssa, you think the media is engaged in scare tactics, kind of hype this up even more than it needs to be?
I do think so. I mean, I in no way would downplay the virus. This is a very serious pandemic the whole world's dealing with. But I do think that the media sometimes plays favorites in this in trying to make it something that's not a whole of government response, but squarely on President Trump. Like, we need Congress to act in terms of relief. We need, rather than playing politics, I see Chuck Schumer tweets near daily, we need a national testing strategy. Well, Donald J. Trump released a national testing strategy back in April. And on top of that, manufactured and purchased 150 million rapid point of care tests so we can test Americans. He's leading. It's some of these Democrat senators who are really just being keyboard warriors.
Right. Alyssa, I want to get to the Supreme Court in just a moment, but I one last question on COVID. I get a sense from this president, he has a very good spidey sense. That's what I call it, kind of that sixth sense of kind of gauging what the American public is feeling at a certain time. I wonder if Americans are just kind of tired of all of the lockdowns and they want to get on with their lives, and if this dark winter that Joe Biden is talking about may come back to haunt Democrats.
Oh, absolutely. The American people are learning how to safely live with the virus until we're able to defeat it once and for all with a vaccine. You've got to trust the public. I mean, people are going to make the best decisions for their families. But what I would note is this. Joe Biden put out his plan, which is how he would defeat COVID. Every single thing he lists on it, short of adding national lockdowns and a national mask mandate, which frankly we don't think is a very federalist response to this, the president has already done. We're surging PPE, we're surging therapeutics. We've got military doctors working alongside the top scientists in the administration. We're doing it. We've been fighting this virus since the outset of the year, not just, quarterbacking our response effort from a basement in Delaware.
Yeah. Hey, Alyssa, let me ask you about the Supreme Court. ACB, Amy Coney Barrett, on the Supreme Court now, and now the question has become packing the court. Are you, the fact that Joe Biden and the Democrats really won't give an answer on this, well, the liberals, the Democrat liberals will give an answer, but Joe Biden is kind of playing elusive here. What is your sense? Do you believe Democrats are going to try for retribution and pack the court if they become get in power?
I absolutely think so. And, some of the more progressive members of the Democrat Party showed their hand after ACB was confirmed. AOC coming out and saying we need to pack the courts. I think we can assume that that is the natural scenario if Joe Biden gets into office. And it's one of the things that Americans need to think about when going to the polls. Again, back to tearing down institutions, what the Democrats accuse Donald Trump of doing. They want to reshape the court because they did not win in an electoral election. That is unacceptable. We have a 9-seat court for a reason. It's proven well since the outset. And we're going to stand tall against any of these efforts to fill seats unconstitutionally.
Alyssa, before I let you go, I've got to ask you about Hunter Biden and what's been going on there. The media seems to be just absolutely silent. They've been dragged kicking and screaming to this story. What's the sense within the White House whether or not you believe that the president believes that crimes have been committed here, or at least the former vice president has some answers that he needs to provide as it relates to a certain crime that may have been committed in all of this?
There are some real questions that need to be answered by the Biden campaign, and they're failing to do so. I mean, talking about plausible deniability when taking tens of millions of dollars potentially from the U.S.'s greatest geopolitical foe is a huge concern. And we still haven't gotten basic answers from the Biden campaign about the $3.5 million that Hunter Biden took from the former mayor of Moscow's wife. This is not normal. This is not how it should work. It rings like it's a case of pay to play, and the American people need to know, but we're not going to stop asking these questions. And we appreciate news outlets like Just the News actually reporting the facts.
Alyssa Farah, always a pleasure to see you. Really appreciate all the time today. Thanks so much.
Thanks. See you soon. Bye.
Alyssa Farah. Back next with Tommy Lahren.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life.
They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
This is the kind of card that has America talking. With it, people with Medicare are getting all-in-one coverage for their doctor visits, hospital care, prescription drugs, and more. This kind of insurance, called Medicare Part C, may also cover dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids, fitness programs, vitamins, even healthy meals and rides to the doctor. With this kind of coverage, you do not need a Medicare supplement insurance plan. You will access your benefits through your Medicare Part C plan for one low and oftentimes $0 monthly plan premium. You deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits. Call now for free information that may help you get more coverage for less money. There is no obligation to enroll. Whether for yourself or someone you love, call the number on the screen now. Call now.
Welcome back to the water cooler, everybody. You know, we truly live in the divided states of America. Come election day, it could get even uglier if that's possible, and trust me, it's possible. This week, I spoke to Fox Nation's Tomi Lahren to get her take on this crazy 2020 election. Yeah, hey, let's talk about, the election. I mean, there is this election going on, less than a week away now. What do you make of what's on the ground? What are you seeing, and what's your spidey sense sensing at this point?
Well, my sense is that the country is very enthusiastic about Donald Trump. We see that from the lines of people that wait to get to see him speak, and you really don't see that for the other side. In fact, the other side is not excited about Joe Biden really at all. They just hate Trump, and that's their motivation. But they hated Trump in 2016 as well, but it didn't get them out to vote. There's a big difference between hating Trump online and actually going out to vote for Joe Biden. Now, I will say, though, David, the one thing that concerns me is voter fraud, ballot harvesting, mail-in voting. That's my only concern about next week.
Yeah, mail-in balloting for sure. I'm now calling Joe Biden the mail-it-in candidate, by the way. I mean, it does seem like if he goes from the basement and like if he has two people at a barbecue, that's a success for the day, Tomi.
Well, and he's also a candidate that is hiding in the basement. And we know that Hillary was a horrible candidate, but at least she got out there. She attempted to rally the people. Joe Biden knows that he is better just staying in the basement. And his only hope for winning this election is that people just hate Donald Trump, and that the mainstream media will do his bidding for him, as they have done this entire season.
What are we seeing from the media this cycle? I mean, we see it every cycle, but it seems like they are not just giving Joe Biden a free pass, but it's like a get-out-of-jail-free card. It's like the Monopoly version. They're nowhere on any of this, Tomi.
Well, they won't talk about the scandals, but we knew that. Of course, they really wouldn't talk about Hillary Clinton's scandals either, but they won't even talk about the state of their candidate. I mean, just the other day, he called Donald Trump George, and the gaffes just continue. Quite frankly, I feel badly for Joe Biden at this point. They're not only doing his bidding, though, that they are covering up for him. They're allowing him to stay in the basement, and they are again just railing over and over again about coronavirus being this president's fault, which is ridiculous, which is absurd, but that's all they have.
Tomi, here's my sense, and I think this is where the Democrats' blind spot, and they've got a few blind spots, but here's where I think a key blind spot could be. On COVID-19, Trump always seems to kind of have a spidey sense, if you will, as to where the country is from a mentality standpoint. I just wonder if they're just sick and tired of the COVID deal. I mean, just the lockdown thing, they're just done with it. They want to move on. And yeah, cases are going to come up. You might get COVID, and it's a bad thing, obviously, but it is what it is. And I just wonder if he's channeling some of that in America, and Biden, who was ready for the dark winter, I'm not quite sure if that's a resonating message and if that's going to help or hurt him.
Well, Donald Trump, as well as Mike Pence, have pressed the other side on if they would continue the lockdowns and the shutdowns, and they really wouldn't come right out and say it. But just last week at the last presidential debate, Joe Biden did kind of come out and say, yeah, we would continue more shutdowns. And I've said it for a long time. I think not only for Donald Trump, but for other Republicans to run on reopening this country and getting people back to work. Enough of the fear. Let's get back to business. Let's trust the American people to be safe and responsible. I think that's a winning message for everybody on the red team.
Yeah, and I also think in terms of a winning message for Donald Trump, I mean, I know he talks about, I'm going to protect the suburbs and all that, but I mean, this idea of law and order, I mean, a lot of people ask me personally, they say, wait a minute, isn't COVID the number one issue out there? And, I got to tell you, Tommy, I kind of think it's something else. I mean, I do believe the law and order issue that Donald Trump has been so strong on could actually help him, because ultimately people want to feel safe. And this Black Lives Matter movement, I mean, if you're going to choose between two different kind of extremes, I wonder if that doesn't help Trump a lot and just kind of get him over the top.
I think it absolutely does. I mean, it seems like every other week we have some kind of a riot in whatever city, and it's not just in places like LA or New York City. We saw it in Kenosha, Wisconsin. We're seeing it in Philadelphia. Of course, LA, they riot after their team wins. And we know that, yes, that's a longstanding thing, but it's much more violent, and they mix in their social justice narrative with it. If the Dodgers win, I think we're going to see it again. So I think that the American people are starting to say, do we really want a president that is okay with all this, that passes this off as Antifa is just an idea? Or do we want a president that says, I'm going to protect you, I'm going to protect your cities, I'm going to protect your borders, and I'm going to get the American people back to work. Let's get back on track. That's what Donald Trump represents. The other side is silent on law and order, or they cheerlead it. I don't think the American people are down with that.
Yeah, Tommy, I want to ask you about churches in California and what's been going on out there, and Gavin Newsom. I mean, you spent some time, obviously, out in California. I know you're in Nashville now. What do you make of Gavin Newsom and the one-man rule out there in California?
Well, I'll tell you from living in California for 3 years that Gavin Newsom is a tyrant. He is a dictator wannabe. He gets off on the power that he has, his newfound and anointed emergency powers that he's using to a great extent. But we just saw the list of rules that he's put out for holidays, telling people how many people they can have over to their homes for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for all the other gatherings. I mean, this goes beyond COVID safety. This goes beyond public safety. This is downright tyranny. And I think Californians are starting to wake up, even the most liberal among them, and say, you know what? This is getting to be a little much.
Tommy, what about the future here? What does a Joe Biden America look like moving forward if indeed he becomes president? And where do millennials factor into all of this? Because the truth of the matter is, you have to wonder about the future of our generation, future of the country at this point, depending on how millennials see the future of politics and the issues that are out there.
Well, we as conservatives need to do a better job of messaging to young people exactly what a socialist nation would look like. And it doesn't mean that we're all come together and kumbaya. It means we all get poorer together. It means more regulation, more control, bigger government. I always say, if you don't trust government, why would you make it bigger? Most young people don't trust government. They are just wildly confused. But a Joe Biden America, let's be honest, it's a Kamala Harris America. It's an AOC America. It is a pathway to socialism. And I tell young people, and I tell really all ages, that once you head down that pathway to socialism, it is really difficult to reverse course. And so this election, we always say it's the biggest election of our time. This is the biggest election of our time, and it's us deciding who we're going to be as a nation, free or under control.
Yeah, for sure. And as we wrap up here, you realize Democrats and liberals are going to go bonkers and berserk and need smelling salts and Excedrin and Advil and all that stuff if Trump wins again. Are you kidding me, Tommy? They're going to, I don't even know where to begin. What are they going to do? Are they going to all leave the country? They always say they're going to leave the country, and they never do.
No, they won't leave the country. Half of them are way too comfortable with their entitlements that they're getting from the government. They're never going to leave here. But, I am worried about what's going to happen in our country after Election Day. We know that we're probably not going to get the results right away, and we just hope that it doesn't take weeks for them to find some more mail-in votes, which is what my big concern is. But I think that a President Trump is going to come in, and he's going to make sure there's law and order and can protect decent Americans no matter what the left is going to do. We have a president that's going to keep it under control and keep people safe.
Fox Nation's Tomi Lahren. Always great to see you, Tommy. Thanks so much for the time.
Good to see you. Be safe out there.
My big thanks to Tomi Lahren. Back in a moment about changing your vote.
America's favorite easy on, easy off energy compression socks just got better. Introducing Copperfit Energy Plus, the world's first graduated compression socks with a rich blend of ingredients found in the top moisturizing lotions and creams. These microencapsulated ingredients are infused into the compression fabric and are gradually released and absorbed by your movement. Motion-activated technology designed to hydrate and soften for all-day comfort. The more you move, the more Copperfit Energy Socks delivers.
I'm not thinking about that I have compression socks on. That simple fact that they feel better with them on than with them off makes me love these socks.
Our most advanced copper-infused compression fabric made in FDA-approved manufacturing facilities, woven into our Easy On, Easy Off graduated compression sock to help reduce swelling and discomfort from prolonged sitting or standing.
I feel that soothingness in my calves and in my ankles, but they can make my feet feel good after 300 miles on the road, and they got to be good for anybody else.
Enhanced compression around the arch and ankles for extra support and relief of muscle aches and pains. And a soft, shock-absorbing footbed for all-day comfort.
All that arch pain that I typically have is just relieved.
They are super comfortable.
They do the job. They're easy and they're effective. That's the whole point of wearing them.
Commercials always promise, promise, promise. This was something easy to try. Just put on a sock, see if it works. I have to say that I'm a fan.
The first ever Easy On, Easy Off compression socks with hydrating ingredients, worn by thousands of essential workers across the U.S. Order your Energy Plus compression socks online now at GetEnergyPlus.com for only $19.99 or call 1-800-515-8892. Order right now and get a second pair free.
I get compression, I get comfort, all in one sock.
Motorcycle guys appreciate the better technology. This is better technology.
Feel the power of CopperFit.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept.
I really love the towels. They're really great. They're super absorbent.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. The new MyPillow towels are exclusively made with 100% USA combed cotton with proprietary technology and with maximum absorbency. They dry you faster and are guaranteed to work. And listen to this. Use the promo code on your screen and Mike will include a second full towel set with bath towel, hand towel, and washcloth absolutely free. That's 2 MyPillow towel sets for the price of 1 in your choice of color.
I personally guarantee they're going to be the best towels you'll ever own.
Order now.
Welcome back to the water cooler, everybody. Mail-in voting. We've talked a lot about that. More than 66 million Americans have already voted either in person or by mail as of Tuesday. You know what that means? That means ballots that have been cast early this year surpassed the total of early votes in 2016. And guess what? We've still got 8 days. Actually, no, my bad. My math is off. 6 days before election. Look, it's all running together. When you cover Trump, you never know what's up or down. All right, let's talk more about all of this election madness, if you will. Election law attorney David DiPietro is here. He's also a constitutional law attorney. David, thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Well, look, so Trump tweets the other day, and I think we have the tweet, but he talked about how this idea that you can change your vote. And he says, go ahead and change your vote. You know, there are states out there where you can do it. What do you understand? As a matter of fact, there's the tweet. It says, strongly trending on Google. Can I change my vote? This refers changing it to me. Of course, he had to add that narcissistically. The answer in most states is yes, go do it. Most important election of your life. So what's the deal, David?
It depends on the state you're in. It can actually happen, surprisingly. I was a little shocked when I researched this issue that it can actually happen. It can happen in states like New Hampshire. It can happen in states like Michigan. It can happen in states like Wisconsin. But there's a time constraint on it depending on your state. So if you are contemplating to change your vote and you've already voted absentee, what you need to do is contact your supervisor of election and ask them if there is a process to change your vote. Here in Florida, where I am, that's not going to happen. There's no buyer's remorse in Florida. Once you vote, you vote. So it just depends on your state, but it is a possibility depending on where you live.
That's interesting. As I was doing some research for the segment too, I noticed, I want to calculate, it was about 13 states or so. You know, I know Trump says most states, but it's not most states, right? It's just more than a handful, but there are some states. It's not all, though, for sure.
Yeah, there's some states, and then those states might have time constraints. Like, for example, if you're in Michigan, you have 2 more days to do it. You have till Friday. If you're in Wisconsin, you have till tomorrow to request a change. So it just depends on where you live and what the local state laws are on this particular issue.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I think in New York and there may be more states, I don't know if you know of any, but I know New York is where you can actually, look, if you voted by mail-in ballot, but then you're like, wait a minute, hold on, I want to change that. You can actually walk in on election day and say, hey, scratch my mail-in ballot, I actually want to vote in person. That's my understanding.
It seems that is the case in New York. And in New Hampshire, if you want to do it, for example, you have to get there an hour before the polls open so that you're there, you can be there to change your vote. So there's a whole procedure for it. So it's very locally dominant, a local issue on how it's handled. So the best advice I can give is call your supervisor of elections officials and ask them what's the process, if there is a process. That's the best way to find out.
Let me ask you a little bit about fraud here, because I mean, this is like Joe Blow, like on the street, right? Like, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm in New York, let's say, for example, and I want to change my vote. So I go up to the folks there on election day and I say, okay, I want to change my vote. And are we really supposed to believe, like, okay, we're going to delete your vote, we're going to find that in the system, there, we hit the delete button, now you can register? I mean, that seems like, I'm not quite sure if that is even like a legit thing at that point. It seems very confusing. We don't even know whose vote would be counting at that point.
It seems pretty incredible to me as well. I mean, especially for a state like New York. I mean, fourth largest state, they're able to find one particular ballot, pull it out, and be able to put the new ballot in. That's pretty impressive technology if that's the case. We don't have that here in Florida. It's just counted, and that's it. The ballot's counted because when you insert the ballot, your name's not attached to it. That's it. Nobody knows where that ballot came from. So it is pretty incredible, and it raises the possibility of fraud or incompetence if this process isn't actually fulfilled correctly.
David, speaking of fraud, what are you expecting election night? In other words, what are you looking for? What are some concerns that you would have as an attorney, as a constitutional law attorney, about what we could see come Tuesday night, and quite frankly, even beyond some of the fights that are going to happen in court?
I think the biggest issue is these unsolicited ballots. I mean, one thing is to request a ballot. You've lived in a certain location. The supervisor knows you've lived there. You voted there in the past from that address, and they check your signature. But to just mail ballots out, to areas where people might not have lived in those houses for years and have ballots floating around is really, really concerning to me. And I think if there is a close election, this unsolicited ballot issue is going to become the major focal point of everything.
One question I always get from folks, and I try to explain it, but I'm going to let you explain it. I mean, it's pretty simple. There is a difference between an absentee ballot and a massive mail-in balloting system that we're seeing going on here. You talk about unsolicited ballots. I mean, it's one thing, I want you to explain it, but it's one thing to request. You have to request an absentee ballot. It's another thing to just be sitting at home, watching a television rerun, and all of a sudden, oh, look what's in my mailbox. I've got a ballot. It seems very, very different, obviously.
When I was in college, I lived in Tallahassee and I voted there. I'd be pretty upset if somebody sent to my college dorm room a ballot because I voted there 15, 16 years ago. And that's what an unsolicited ballot would be, that I haven't voted in that county in 15 years. And since I voted there in the past, they went ahead and sent a ballot. And there's no chance I live there or even closely in the area anymore. And there's no check to make sure that I registered in another county, so there's no reason to send a ballot unsolicited. That's the scary part. And then people can die, people can move, the whole host of changes can happen, and it can cause a real mess. I mean, it's the biggest issue I'm watching, and it's really concerning because if the election's close, that's where all the legal fights are going to be over.
Well, and that's the thing. You mentioned people dying. I mean, so there's been a couple of people in my house over the last 10 years who've either passed away, or there was a niece that left us who was living with us for a while. She got not a ballot, but a way to register to get a ballot. And I mean, it's just crazy, all the stuff that could happen.
It's really concerning. It's really to require some level of identification of vote is the minimum standard. If you really want pure voting, you have people actually show up to the polls. But I understand with this pandemic that's become problematic. But Florida's done absentee voting pretty successfully over the last 20 years. And it's really the gold standard, I would say. Believe it or not, Florida's the gold standard for elections. But it is. We really do have our absentee system when we have recounts, the numbers are very few apart when they recount them. It seems like our system's working. I don't know about for other states like Pennsylvania.
Yeah, David DePietro, come a long way from hanging chads back in 2000. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time. All right, when we come back, a presidential historian, Doug Weed. Mainstream media loves to get on Trump's case. He's got a different view. Back in a moment.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra soft outer layer is a patented temperature regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Hello, I'm William Shatner, and you may not know this about me, but years ago, I was diagnosed with a sleep disorder. And like millions of others, I was prescribed sleep equipment. Did you know sleep equipment manufacturers recommend daily cleaning? That's why I use SoClean 2. It's the perfect complement to my daily routine, and it's hassle-free. SoClean 2 is fast and easy. It keeps my sleep equipment fresh every day without the need for disassembly. To keep the immune system strong, we should do everything we can to ensure a good night's sleep, including using the SoClean 2 daily to keep sleep equipment fresh. Try SoClean 2 risk-free for 30 nights. Order now and get $50 off. SoClean 2 is so fast and gives you peace of mind that your sleep equipment is fresh each time you use it. Call the number on your screen or go to SoClean2.com to take advantage of this risk-free trial and get $50 off. Call now.
Welcome back to the water cooler, everybody. All right, when you think of Donald Trump, at least in Democrat and liberal circles, you think orange man bad. It's like he can do no right. Everything's wrong. He's responsible for, global warming. He's got blood on his hands and COVID, all of this. But our next guest has a bit of a different perspective because, he actually did some research and knows a little bit about Donald Trump. Joining us now, Doug Weed, the New York Times bestselling author and former advisor to 2 American presidents. Doug, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, David. Congratulations on your new show.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, Doug. And we're going to get to your book in a moment, but I want to first ask you about the election and what's your take so far, what you've seen. And, Trump is going to have to apparently pull an inside straight again or another miracle. At least that's the way it's coming across. What do you think might happen?
Yeah, absolutely. It would take a miracle, I think, at this point, which is possible. It happened last time, but I'm pessimistic. I see the United States right where Argentina was a few years ago. They had a booming economy. Their middle class was rich. They felt tender towards those left behind. They tilted to the left, voted in a lot of socialist policies, and the country's gone bankrupt. The billionaires, they always make it. They got their money out of Argentina. the rich middle class had their bank accounts frozen and they are now in virtual poverty. It's a sad story. I could see that happening to the United States.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about, your pessimism. So you're talking about pessimism as it relates to you're talking about pessimism as it relates to America's future, potentially? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I mean, a 30-second nightmare for me is Democrats win, control the executive branch and the Senate and the House. They changed the Supreme Court for the first time in 150 years and had 5 more jurists and make that tilt to the left. They bring in Guam, Puerto Rico as states to get 4 more senators. And then they do what they promised. They give free health care and free education and legalize citizenship to all of the illegal aliens. And the Democrats would rule the country for 100 years. I think that's very possible.
Yeah, and there's Trump's trying to stand guard against all of that, for sure. Hey, Doug, let me ask you about your book. I mean, obviously, you wrote about Donald Trump. It's called Inside Trump's White House, the real story of his presidency. Tell us a little bit about the book and what people need to understand about Donald Trump.
Well, it's a fascinating story that isn't told because the media doesn't tell it. And I interviewed him and all of the family members, and it's the opposite of what I thought. I found the White House and the president to be much more calculated than I suspected. Sun Tzu is supposed to have said, out of chaos comes opportunity. And I saw that with Trump. He blows up NATO, then he rebuilds it bigger, better than ever. Blows up NAFTA, rebuilds it bigger, better than ever. He reads a lot. That surprised me. And he's much more empathetic than I expected him to be. For example, the night of the election, he was glued to the TV, and Ivanka was saying, "You got to go, Dad, you got to go." They wanted to bring him to the Hilton, and he was transfixed by these weeping Clinton supporters on TV, these young ladies. He said, "Imagine how they feel. Imagine how they feel." This was Donald Trump, a side of him that I didn't know about.
Well, that is an interesting story. You're definitely not going to hear that from the media for sure. Hey, Doug, let me ask you a little bit about, as a historian, as someone who has seen other presidents up close and personal, what's your sense of how, and I know it's early, but how history could remember Donald Trump? Once again, I understand this is the first chapter, and you know it depends a lot on what's to come. But what is your sense about what Donald Trump has done to the presidency?
I think he's going to have a startling legacy because of what he's accomplished and what he's exposed. It's like someone who's turned on the lights in a dark room. Now the lights are going to go out again, but we'll never forget what we saw when the lights were on. And some of those memories can't be erased. There are things we now know about big corporate monopolies that we didn't know before. NAFTA is a good example. He said to me, "NAFTA is 17,000 pages long. They say I'm against free trade, the North American Free Trade Association. Think of that. The Bible is 1,000 pages long. So is War and Peace. NAFTA is 17,000 pages. It doesn't take that many pages to write free trade. It was filled with corruption." And he turned that on his head, and it made a lot of enemies. And the enemies are the big corporations that own the national media. Half of their profits are coming from China. They're not very happy.
Yeah, you know, Doug, one thing that's fascinated me, the media just doesn't get Trump. They think they get Trump, but they really don't get Trump. They have no idea. I mean, it's fascinating to me that he is a billionaire who can speak and relate to cab drivers, if you will. He kind of speaks like a cab driver. And, you know, if Mitt Romney would have been able to do that, maybe he would have won back in 2012. But Trump is something the media just hasn't really been able to figure out.
You know, David, I admire you a great deal, and I followed your career, but I disagree with that. Okay. I think most, at least at the executive level of the media, they understand him perfectly well, and he's the enemy, and they're trying to get rid of him because he's released the angels of small business, and that's what created the great economic growth. Mm-hmm. So you have a company like Boeing that now has 40 competitors for some of their corporate government bids. They never had that before. They were an absolute monopoly. It's an interesting quote from a Soviet dissident. He said, "When the truth is replaced by silence, that silence is a lie." So the media has been unfair not only by reporting false stories, they've been unfair by not reporting stories that are important.
You know, I guess what I was saying more about the media, though, is that they always are kind of dumbfounded that Trump can, you know, employ that strategy of shoot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue, if you will, you know, that strategy. And they just keep coming every single day. There's commentary like, he gets away with this, he gets away with that. But I truly believe his narrative has been the big, brash New Yorker who can say or do anything, and that's his narrative. And people voted for him anyhow. Doug?
Well, you're right about that. You're right about that. But I was surprised by how much calculation there is. My best interviews were with Jared and Ivanka, and Jared said the first day he was in office, he wanted to do everything. He wanted to bring the hostages home immediately. He wanted to end ISIS immediately. He wanted to create jobs, everything on the first day. So he's one of the hardest working presidents we've ever had. In that respect, the media, they do underestimate him. And I think the media underestimates the American people who are on to a lot of the things that are happening. And they understand it in a way the media doesn't expect them to understand it.
Doug Weed, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, David. Good to see you.
When we come back, the last sip, a little commentary about Joe Biden and the babbling brook. Back in a moment.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction, then coated 3 times with our durable Granite Stone finish. Granite Stone is metal utensil safe and won't scratch. And talk about non-stick. This salmon cooked skin side down with no added butter or oil just doesn't stick. This steak is perfectly seared just like the pros. And because Granite Stone is oven rated to 500 degrees, we bake this upside down pan pizza to perfection, and it just doesn't stick. Fire Flambe Delicious Cherries Jubilee. Plus, it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone pan for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. It's the perfect size for personalized eggs, omelets, or frittatas that slide right out. It makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich quick. Yours absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. You get it all, an incredible value. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-850-0237. That's 1-800-850-0237, or order online at buygranitestone.com. That's 1-800-850-0237. Call now.
So, Frank, you're the big hurt. Why do you need Nugenix? After 40, a guy loses free testosterone. Even me. I couldn't stay in shape like I used to.
Frank. So does Nugenix really work?
Oh, yeah. My workouts are incredible now. I'm feeling stronger, more energetic, with a lot more drive.
Frank. So, say I knew someone who should try Nugenix. How does he do that?
It's easy. Just send a text to get a complimentary bottle.
Frank's right. Now you can claim a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenix by texting BUFF to 42424. Its unique formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate. Text BUFF to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of new Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. That's BUFF to 42424.
Welcome back to the water cooler, everybody. Time now for the last sip, and here it is. And water in the what is this? Oh, it's a mug. Yeah, okay. It doesn't take that much of a rocket scientist to figure out what it is. Look, Joe Biden. All right, can we talk about him for a moment? Can someone let him know that he's running for president of the United States? Because clearly, I mean, Kamala Harris clearly thinks she's the one running for president. I mean, she's the one that said in a Harris administration, and now Joe Biden apparently is Kamala Harris's running mate. Have a look.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm Jill Biden's husband, and I am Kamala's running mate. You all think I'm kidding, don't you?
Yeah, I'm Kamala's running mate. No, you're not, Joe. And I like how he says, you think I'm kidding. No, Joe, actually, we don't think you're kidding. We think you really do think that because hashtag 25th Amendment. You're probably gone in January, is my guess, and Kamala Harris will be president by February 1st. But anyhow, let's go on and roll some more of the Joe Biden clip right after that because it kind of just rambled.
You all think I'm kidding, don't you? Folks, it gives me so much more optimism about the future to see that Maya and so many inspiring young people like Maya, that's President Trump. He's having trouble being heard over there. They're a very polite bunch.
Okay, so just so you know, we just ran about 35 seconds of Joe Biden, and I have no idea what he just said. I have no idea. I mean, Maya and Trump in Georgia, but Trump wasn't in Georgia. I have no idea what he said. So literally 35 seconds and we had no clue he's rambling. Look, enthusiasm for Biden, not through the roof. As a matter of fact, just 46% of Biden voters in a recent Pew poll said that they strongly support him. That compares to 66% of Trump's base. And I got to tell you, folks, we know that elections are all about enthusiasm. We know that they are won at the margins. And this is Trump's only hope. I mean, Trump has to hope on Election Day that that enthusiasm or lack thereof for Biden translates and MAGA Nation doesn't just show up on boat and by horseback and with their convoys of truckers around the nation. That's great. Wonderful visual, knock yourself out. But is it going to translate into victory on Election Day? We'll find out. Meanwhile, I have to tell you, right here, little lady, this is Madison's dog here, our associate producer. She's wondering, what's up with Biden? And I think a lot of Americans are too. Back in a moment.
America's favorite easy on, easy off energy compression socks just got better. Introducing Copperfit Energy Plus, the world's first graduated compression socks with a rich blend of ingredients found in the top moisturizing lotions and creams. These microencapsulated ingredients are infused into the compression fabric and are gradually released and absorbed by your movement. Motion-activated technology designed to hydrate and soften for all-day comfort. The more you move, the more Copperfit Energy Socks delivers.
I'm not thinking about that I have compression socks on. That simple fact that they feel better with them on than with them off makes me love these socks.
Our most advanced copper-infused compression fabric made in FDA-approved manufacturing facilities, woven into our Easy On, Easy Off graduated compression sock to help reduce swelling and discomfort from prolonged sitting or standing.
I feel that soothingness in my calves and in my ankles, but they can make my feet feel good after 300 miles on the road, and they got to be good for anybody else.
Enhanced compression around the arch and ankles for extra support and relief of muscle aches and pains. And a soft, shock-absorbing footbed for all-day comfort.
All that arch pain that I typically have is just relieved.
They are super comfortable.
They do the job. They're easy and they're effective. That's the whole point of wearing them.
Commercials always promise, promise, promise. This was something easy to try. Just put on a sock, see if it works. I have to say that I'm a fan.
The first ever Easy On, Easy Off compression socks with hydrating ingredients worn by thousands of essential workers across the U.S. Order your Energy Plus compression socks online now at GetEnergyPlus.com for only $19.99 or call 1-800-515-8892. Order right now and get a second pair free.
I get compression, I get comfort, all in one sock.
Motorcycle guys appreciate the better technology. This is better technology.
Feel the power of Copperfit.
If you're over 50, imagine you could turn back the clock on your stiff, achy joints 10, even 20 years. Imagine you could do this without products that just temporarily hide the symptoms and may have side effects. Imagine no more. Get your complimentary sample of Instaflex Advanced just by texting JOINT to 231231. Instaflex Advanced is different because it targets the root cause of joint soreness and stiffness. It doesn't just cover up symptoms. Instead, it bathes your joints in its unique combination of 5 key natural ingredients found in no other product. Key ingredients backed by 5 clinical studies. Instaflex Advanced is so powerful, you could have better knees in just 1 week. Maybe that's why it's #1 at GNC. But you can only get your complimentary sample by texting JOINT to 231231. Plus, text now and we'll include a tube of Instaflex pain cream with its exclusive oxygenated oil for fast-acting relief from the pain of arthritis, backaches, and sore muscles, absolutely free. Text JOINT to 231231.
All right, welcome back to the water cooler. So you got Biden versus Trump, you got Ali versus Frazier, you got Ted Cruz versus Jack Dorsey. That was the scene today on Capitol Hill regarding Twitter and censorship. Hey, by the way, all right, there, we did the sign. Because we got to do the sign. Sophie Mann here. We're not going to censor Sophie Mann. We would never do that.
Hopefully.
No. Not that I want to talk about Jack Dorsey's beard, but I mean, that whole thing just looked very kind of like, very Silicon Valley. Honestly, very Montana cabin-ish.
Very much winning the quarantine beard competition.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether that's the look you want to go with before rolling up to the Senate, I don't know. But no, he made a choice today.
Yeah, clearly. It was like jogging and testifying. Mm-hmm. That was like his thing. All right, so what's going on? What happened today? Because, I mean, we saw some of it. Cruz was just lambasting him.
Well, so as you say, this is about the third or fourth big tech hearing before the Senate or congressional panels of the past few months. Today, Jack Dorsey joined Mark Zuckerberg and Sundar Pichai. He's by and large avoided these hearings. It's mostly been Zuckerberg, Google, Apple, the like, but we haven't heard from Twitter yet, despite Twitter being such a hot button topic politically because so much discourse obviously takes place on the platform. Yeah. So today, the Senate panel was asking Jack Dorsey about election suppression, these sort of headlines we've seen the past few weeks, specifically Twitter censoring the New York Post's Hunter Biden story, which the New York Post remains locked out of its Twitter account, as we've seen. You know, Jack Dorsey, he falsely apparently said, we changed the rules of Twitter. You can now send the Hunter Biden link if you want. Ted Cruz or his team at least very quickly got on Twitter right after Jack Dorsey had said that, tried to send the link, couldn't do it. Certain Trump campaign employees tried to do the same thing, posted videos. It wasn't working. So the CEO of the company appears to be wrong in that capacity. In addition to, giving sort of a little bit of an incoherent testimony sort of all over the place in terms of how Twitter sets their rules, not 30 minutes after he said that, but the Ayatollah of Iran posted a tweet about should it be okay to present Holocaust denial theories, and that was not censored. So it's unclear if we got any real answers today, but I think we got sort of the same plot line of Twitter has been at the very best inconsistent about the rules that they've applied in terms of censorship on their platform.
Yeah, and Dorsey is saying this whole thing about there's no political bias at Twitter. I mean, come on. I mean, I didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday. I mean, come on. Anyhow, neither did you, Sophie.
2 days ago.
I had no breaking news. You fell off the turnip truck. Thanks, Sophie.
Yeah,
appreciate
of course.
It. All right, we're back tomorrow with a show. You know it's going to be a big show. We always have a big newsmaker and a few little fun things like all of this. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate,